A very good evening to all our viewers who've just tuned in. This is South Speaks. I'm Deepak Bopanna. Now, today's story comes from Kerala. First, it was with the East and then it's with the South. India's External Affairs Ministry has been really keeping busy over the last 1 week, not only with foreign affairs, but even domestic developments. Barely days after the MEA has put out a terse response to Bengal Chief Minister's remarks on the Bangladesh crisis, now it has wrapped the Kerala government for appointing a secretary for external cooperation. Let's listen to what the MEA said.
The Kerala government had issued an order where they had appointed a secretary in charge of external cooperation. See, let's be very clear. The Constitution of India, under the 7th schedule, list 1, which is the union list, item number 10, clearly specifies that foreign affairs and all matters which bring the union into relation with any foreign country are the sole prerogative of the union government. It is not a concurrent subject. So foreign affairs is not a concurrent subject and definitely not a state subject. Our position is that state government should not intrude into matters that are beyond their constitutional jurisdiction.
Now, viewers, to put things really in context here, we would like to recap for you what the entire issue is really about, what it is about. Now, on the 15th of July, the Kerala government issues an order that gave K Vasuki, the Secretary of the State's Labour and Skills Department, an additional charge of matters connected with external cooperation. Something that drew very agitated responses from various quarters, especially the BJP. Now, when the matter, of course, escalated, it became a full-blown controversy. And first, let's listen, in fact, to what the BJP said about all of this.
No, look, I see it as another joke being played by the India Alliance, which is the Congress and the CPM on the people of India, people of Kerala. They keep talking about the Constitution, they keep waving the Constitution document, and obviously they have not read it, they don't understand it, they don't respect it, because it is very clear in the Constitution what the government of India and the central government's roles and authorities are. There is a schedule which is a central schedule, and then there is a list which is a state list, and there is a concurrent list.
Now, the state's chief secretary has issued a statement clarifying that the Kerala government is in no way encroaching into the centre's territory. It was a social media post that was put up by Kerala Chief Secretary V. Venu, which says, and I quote here, "The government did these things not to engage in diplomatic relations with foreign countries and to interfere in matters falling under the jurisdiction of the central government, but as a part of an effort, they say, to establish new relations for the development of the state." His initial statement, of course, did little to really quell the outrage, and even though the left ally Congress tried to downplay the incident, politics on it right now refuses to die down. Let's listen to what Congress's Secy had to say about this.
It is true that because of the very large Kerala diaspora, a number of issues affecting the welfare of Keralites in foreign countries comes to the attention of the people's representatives. Myself as an MP, there's not a single week in the last 15 years. But that doesn't mean that the state government can even think of substituting itself for the authority of the centre. Foreign affairs in the Constitution is the responsibility only of the central government, the union government, and all external relationships are mediated through the union government.
Meanwhile, former Minister of State External Affairs in Kerala, BJP leader V. Muralidharan, claimed that the government's actions have exposed the LDF hypocrisy over constitutional propriety and in fact exposed the left's anti-constitutional stand, he says.
See, this stand exposes the utter contempt to the Constitution that the CPM government has. It also exposes the double standards of the CPM government. The India Alliance partners have been saying that they are the protectors of the Constitution. It shows their utter contempt for the Constitution. It shows their arrogance towards the constitutional provisions. So I must say that the people of the country, they understands all these things. I wonder when they will appoint a new defense secretary also.
Now, amid the political storm and the MEA rap, the Kerala Chief Secretary again came out to defend the move and said that we are all aware of the subjects that are categorized under the union list, the concurrent list and the state list. The engagements done with multilateral agencies or foreign delegations are done with express consent of the union government. Now, even though the issue, of course, started out as a war of words between the BJP and the left, it has now become another North versus South political battle with India bloc ally DMK joining the anti-centre chorus. Tamil Nadu's IT minister, PTR, took to social media. He slams the centre for chiding the Kerala government. He accused the centre of intruding into many areas mentioned in the state list and effectively not having the moral right to really lecture states about constitutional division of powers. In the social media post, he has alleged that the centre often legislates on matters that have been mentioned in the states list and then questions why it's making such a big issue of this appointment done by the Kerala government. Now, with the storm about a discriminatory union budget yet to die down, and the Kerala Chief Minister, of course, already having announced his decision to skip the Niti Aayog meeting in Delhi tomorrow, the question we ask today, viewers, is cooperative federalism even a real possibility in this era of confrontational politics? That's the big question on the debate as we, of course, open this up to our panel who are joining us. Vinita Hariharan, spokesperson of the BJP, S. Balan, advocate and political analyst with us. And we'll also, of course, very soon be joined in by K Tripathy, former ambassador as well. Let me take this across first to the BJP here. Vinita, a very good evening to you. Interesting that the Kerala government, of course, comes up with this idea. Now, there has been a defense that has come in from the Chief Secretary, not one, but a couple of times. They say they understand the differences between, the state list, the concurrent list and the union list. They're not in any way trying to interfere with the union's role. What do you make of this move in the first place? If it is not interference with, something on the centre's list, how does the BJP really perceive this as?
Good evening. Thank you for having me on your show. Definitely, it's a blatant violation of the union list of the Constitution, as has been read repeatedly by the spokesperson of MEA. We don't need to reiterate the provisions of the Constitution, but as it is said in the Constitution, this is the sole prerogative of any item which brings the union in relation with any foreign country is the sole prerogative of the union government. So by appointing a Secretary of External Cooperation, the Kerala government is actually encroaching on a domain which is reserved exclusively for the central government. And then there is also Article 257, which says the executive power of every state shall be exercised as not to impede or prejudice the exercise of the executive power of the union. So when you have another authority in the state government dealing with external cooperation, then definitely it is undermining the central authority. It is creating confusion. The foreign delegates or the foreign ministries, the foreign authorities, whoever come to India regarding Kerala's issues, regarding Kerala's issues, where will they go? Will they go to the Secretary for Cooperation or will they go to the central government? It's creating a lot of confusion. It's creating administrative complexities. Yeah. And he was already the Secretary of NORCA. Dr. Vasaki has already been the Secretary of NORCA. If we have a NORCA department, then why then create another position for Secretary for External Cooperation? Therefore, definitely the mandate or the intent is to go beyond the reach of what the Kerala government or any state government is entitled to. NORCA was definitely within constitutional framework, that is to take care of non-resident Kerala people who reside abroad, and to take care of their welfare and facilitate, provisions for them. So that was also headed by an IAS officer, and she herself was the Secretary of NORCA. So why then create another position called Ministry of Cooperation? Definitely it's going one step beyond what the state government is mandated to do. So it is a blatant violation of the constitutional frameworks, and I think Kerala is really stepping ahead of its mandate when it creates a position like this. And then creating infrastructure, creating bureaucratic, administrative structures under
Vinita, can this position be really looked at as a bridge? Because, there is, of course, a large number of people from Kerala who reside abroad, who work abroad. Now, there are multiple issues that they face. Now, like Mr. Shashi Tharoor was pointing out, that he as an MP as well gets many requests. So can this really serve as a bridge, not interfering in what the centre does, but probably periodically, of course, being in touch with somebody from the External Affairs Ministry, being that bridge between the state and the centre? Can the role be defined something like that, and is that okay with the BJP?
So, which is what I said, there is already a department of NORCA, which is Non-Resident Kerala Association Authority, so which is mandated, which is also within the constitutional framework, and this particular officer was already the secretary of NORCA. Then why create a special post for external cooperation? The word external cooperation means, dealing with the mandate of the union government, which is dealing with foreign external agencies. So, which is a particular mandate of the union government, which the constitution has provided for, keeping in mind certain sensitivities to this issue of dealing with external agencies. Dealing with the people who reside, people from Kerala who reside abroad, that there is already
let me bring in Mr. Balan as well here, and let me see if he has a response to what you said. Mr. Balan, there, Vinita says, well, there is a position already there which is acting as a bridge. There is an agency doing this. There's already a person, of course, who is looking after all of this. And now, in what way does this really serve any purpose?
In front of me. Let me read the order. External cooperation. External cooperation is different from external relation and foreign affairs. Kerala government indeed know what is external relationship. Similar officials are appointed in Gujarat. Mr. Prime Minister of India, Modi, he appointed it. Similar official is appointed in Haryana. Similar officer is appointed in Maharashtra when Fadnews went abroad. This is external cooperation is different from external relationship, external affairs. There is a track record for this. So that doesn't mean that the state government is intervening in the external affairs. It is not external affairs. So this is a misinformation, mischievous and dubious attitude of the BJP and external ministry. So there is an officer to coordinate with the people of Kerala. It is only external cooperation. So the question is put in the parliament, the question number 2970. The answer of Minister of External Affairs Ministers, Mr. Singh, who is none other than the ex-army chief. So this is a dubious attitude. I don't find any misgiving. It's all within the purview of Indian constitution and the Kerala government and the attitude of the Gujarat government, Haryana government and Maharashtra are one and the same. See, this indicates the BJP and MEA targeting the opposition-ruled states because lot of people are working in abroad. They need some officials to coordinate between the center and the state. So there is nothing constitutional violation. It is within the purview of constitution, and the president is Gujarat itself when Prime Minister Modi was Chief Minister of Gujarat.
Okay, Mr. Balan, my colleague Sneha also joins us now from the newsroom. Sneha, there's a lot of question marks that are arising at this point in time, whether this decision was actually wrong. Now, Mr. Balan here on the show is saying that, multiple other states have similar positions. So the BJP here didn't have a problem with this happening in Gujarat or Maharashtra or Haryana, but, raises a question because Kerala is an opposition-ruled state. For the benefit of our viewers, try and explain what this move exactly is. And what will this role of this officer be?
Okay, Deepak, it's going to be interesting because while the name nomenclature is where I think everything is getting caught at this point, but it's important to see what the larger picture of Kerala is. 21 lakhs is what the migrants from Kerala are, those who have migrated abroad. In fact, it will be far more than that. These are just the conservative official figures according to a migratory report that has come out recently. That's the kind of numbers we are talking. Almost every family has one migrant or an immigrant who has gone abroad, who's working abroad or has settled abroad. So that's the kind of numbers we are looking, that's the kind of political, social landscape that we are looking. You have actually many districts in Kerala, particularly in the north, where you have houses locked and where the families all together have migrated abroad. So there's a large culture, there are some who actually, immigration experts, who call an entire phenomena in Kerala as a culture, a migration culture as it was, starting from your education to your jobs and then eventually possibly returning or staying on. So that's the political social culture in Kerala, and it's in this context that the Kerala government claims, and it's also important to understand they have a Norca department which essentially looks at the Keralites who are living abroad, their welfare and all of that. But remember, Kerala is in a very difficult, tight spot, if I may say, when it comes to the finances. There's a lot of to and fro between the centre and state already. There have been several attempts to woo investors back into Kerala. There's an increased attempt even abroad to showcase Kerala, as it were. Which of course has a legacy of its own, starting with the nomenclature of God's own country that was formed by a bureaucrat who's currently at the center for that matter. Nonetheless, with all of that in the larger picture is where K Vasuki comes in. Again, a very senior IAS officer who's held some very, very key posts, including being a collector of Thiruvananthapuram when there was this entire unprecedented flooding that the entire state had seen. So it's going to be interesting how it goes forward.
Yeah.
But this is what really the state claims. They're looking at more investments, collaborating with countries and immigrants who are working abroad, and see what Kerala can get.
Okay, Sneha, thank you for putting that into perspective. I'll also bring in a former ambassador who's joining us on the panel, K Tripathy. Of course, he's heard a few perspectives here on the show up until now. Mr. Tripathy, firstly, what do you make of this move coming to the fore from the Kerala government? Mr. Balan here, of course, was just speaking earlier saying that there are similar positions in other states as well. How do you really look at this? Can the state actually appoint an officer like this? Probably because it could in one way act as a bridge. But even that, of course, has been rebutted by the BJP saying there's already a Norca department which looks into aspects like this. If there are issues that people staying abroad, Keralites staying abroad are facing, they go to this particular department. Or can it be for business interests of Kerala to bring in investment? Can, a person be appointed like this? Take us through how you really view this.
Well, I think, Deepak, this whole thing, this whole confusion, I will say, has originated from the lack of definition. What exactly does the Kerala government mean by external cooperation? If external cooperation means cooperating with the Kerala, with the Malayali NRIs, and having their welfare in mind, yes, as long as that is there, the government is within its power. But if it extends to the cooperating with the government, a host government of the country where the Malayalis live, then that comes in purview of Ministry of External Affairs, because that is comes in the purview of foreign relations. So that has to be made clear. Probably that was not made clear in this episode or in this case. And secondly, you see, Ministry of External Affairs has got a division of non-resident Indians. There are lots of government agencies in Gulf. When we are talking about Malayalis, we are talking about essentially Gulf. Lots and lots of divisions, lots and lots of agencies, Government of India's agencies there. And then the associations, Malayali associations. So all these can be, Malayali association can be contacted and can have direct relationship with the state government of Kerala, no problem. But if it comes to anything regarding welfare of the Keralites, Malayalis, which involves the local interacting with the local government, then there the boundary of external cooperation ends, and from there the jurisdiction of central government begins. So I think basically there is a lack of definition. The state government should have defined it clearly.
Yeah, the clarity as to what this position exactly means to do is something that they need to probably, throw more light on, is what you're saying. I'll go back to the BJP here. Vinita, two interesting points that Mr. Balan said, that there are similar positions in BJP ruled states. This is an attack on an opposition ruled state by the centre unnecessarily is one charge. On the other, you have even the DMK that has come into the picture. They've said that the center time and again gets into aspects of the states list. So here, when it's just bordering the union list and not something that is looking to interfere in it, why is the center making such a big deal about it is a question that even the DMK is asking.
No, see, this is a cooperative federal structure. We all agree to that. But when the center, talks about agriculture, when the center talks about issues that are there in the state's prerogative, we're talking about centrally sponsored schemes. We're talking about providing funds to state governments through a mechanism which is constitutionally mandated, where the state also gives in a portion of their share, and the center also gives in a portion of the share. It's a constitutional mandate that we have to provide subsidies and funds routed through the state government to the beneficiaries of various states. So therefore, there is no violation of constitution there when we talk of when the center is not breaching any of the state's mandate when it speaks about such things such as agriculture and whatever you meant by the center breaching the state's list. It is never breaching the state's list. It's always working within the constitutional framework there. So therefore, there has to be clarity. And first of all, the secretary for cooperation, for external cooperation, that's the language that is, difficult to actually digest. And also, when you have NORCA, when you already have a department which is well established, then why again replicate? When we're talking about streamlining government, when we're talking about reducing the government size, why are you duplicating the machinery across the state and the center? We are talking about minimum government and maximum governance. So why are we again creating more, positions which will again mandate fund allocations, which will again mandate a staffing machinery under this particular position? So why create an overlap duties here?
Okay. Mr. Balan, your response to that? Mr. Balan, are you able to hear me?
Hello?
The response to that...
Mr. Balan, if you could respond to what the BJP said. Yeah.
Okay. See, the Rajmouni, the ambassador...
Go ahead, Mr. Balan. We can hear you. Go ahead.
The state government of Haryana as a similar official. How come MEA had never raised any objection when it comes to activities?
No, that's where he was pointing out that
Haryana?
there seems to be a little bit of lack of clarity in the definition of this. Having similar officials and exactly what their job is and their role is, that is something that needs to be clearly defined, isn't it?
External affairs, external relationship are altogether different to that of external cooperation. Cooperation with the citizens who reside there, especially Middle East, cooperation. That doesn't mean that the state government transgress into the domain of the MEA. So they are targeting Kerala government because it is a left-ruled state. But a drop of pin, they make a mountain out of a black mole. According to me, there is
Mr. Balan,
no violation of
why
the
not clearly
Constitution.
define this role? When you make an appointment, the Kerala government can very much come out and, define this role. And if you're talking about that the center is, again trying to target an opposition-ruled state, then why is Mr. Shashi Tharoor as well opposing it? He's an ally of the left, isn't it?
The order, once again, I will read
Not
the
maybe in
order.
Kerala, but at the center.
No, the order is very clear. There is an explanation in the order
No,
itself.
okay.
Central administration...
You're saying the order is clear. No, you're saying that the order is clear. Then why does an MP from Kerala, from the Congress party, find a flaw in it?
That is dual approach, political reason. Mr. Tharoor need to oppose any left policies because that is the politics of Mr. Tharoor. He has to get elected in Kerala opposing the left. And he need to take that stand. And BJP wanted to attack left. That there is no other go for them. They should think in terms of the interest of the people of state of Kerala. Those people are there. They wanted to Help the people. See, language is important, region is important. The state government has every moral responsibility to protect its citizens who are staying in abroad. It is only a connecting between the central government and the people of Kerala. What is wrong in that? The state government is also elected government. They have to work for the interest of people of Kerala. And what is wrong in that? How it is transgressing? Why you are not opposing to Maharashtra, Haryana, Gujarat, the same Prime Minister of India, he appointed similar official. He was Chief Minister of
Okay.
Gujarat. Why you don't oppose that? Why don't you oppose other things? That is
Okay.
the one thing. See, it
Okay,
is
interesting
dubious.
perspectives, of course, have come in here. The former ambassador says probably more clarity on the definition of this role is required. Mr. Balan believes that similar roles exist in other BJP ruled states, and this is an attack on a opposition ruled state. The BJP, of course, is saying that the Kerala government is trying to really tread into uncharted territory, especially the union list, which it should really not. Now, in the coming days, whether there will be more explanations that will come in from the left government in Kerala, that remains to be seen. Thanking all our panelists for joining us on this broadcast.